All right, welcome back to another episode 15 of Island Ball. We're going to be talking about the second round playoffs, our predictions for some of these games, just our reaction to some news that just came out, primarily being Steph's injury, and just our thoughts on that and what we think is going to happen and whatnot. Yeah, you want to just get it started with Warriors Timberwolves, game one?
Yeah, let's get started. Um, Here I'm still chewing. Start off with your initial thoughts.
Yeah, do you want to just start off with Steph's injury then first, or do you want
Yeah,
to?
yeah.
Yeah, well, so Steph, exited with a hamstring injury. More news on it today. But, Steve, they had said he was day to day and they were monitoring it, but it looks like he's going to be out for at least a week, and we'll see. Did they really classify what? I mean, it's got to be grade one, right? If it's
Yeah, I
even
think
possible for him to come back.
Sam's just said it was like grade one,
Okay.
which I guess is the best possible news, but still not great news, you know?
Yeah. So he's out for game two at like I mean that was already.
They said he's getting reevaluated in a week, so that means
Mhm.
that's bad. That's like means the earliest he's back is game five.
Yeah, because now with the semis, it's like games are every other day. Just
hmm
so or there's one day rest. So
But I think we're talking about it earlier, like I think they have 2 or 3 days after game five. So if we make it, he can maybe make it to game six, I think. But this is a series it looks like they're just gonna have to, win without Curry. I mean, like if you really want to look at it like that, which I mean, as bad as it sounds, I think that's actually somewhat possible. We just have to, a defensive grinding out series. But
yeah.
I don't know, like we talked about off the podcast, like the Rockets defense was throwing so much at Curry. It felt like if we had a healthy Curry this series, I feel like he could have got almost whatever he wanted.
Mhm.
We could have, the Warriors could have won this in maybe five or six.
Yeah, I definitely think we would have won in six pretty
Mhm.
comfortably. But yeah, you're right about the rest too. It's every other day, and then game six, there's a 2 days rest period. So,
Yeah.
you know, that might be a viable spot for him to return.
hmm
The main thing is we don't want to. I mean, I think it'll all come down to what happens in these. I don't think he's going to play any of the next three games at the very least.
Yeah, I don't think he
And
plays.
I think it will depend on like what happens in these next three games. Because as good as we
Mhm.
did look without him, in our defense, like I don't know. I
That
mean, it's your
still
best
wasn't.
player out. We could easily lose these next three games. And if we're down 3-1, I don't think they're gonna take any chance by throwing him in and trying to come back 3-1, especially because if he injures it more, it potentially turns into a tear. It's like, he's gonna have like no off season then because he's just gonna be rehabbing. There's always surgery that I mean that's the worst case with the hamstring injury if he re-injures it more. So I mean I
hmm
think it depends on how these next couple games go,
hmm
like if we see him back or not. Um, if we can at least get one of the home games, like Jimmy and just like Buddy or some of our other role players step up big and we can take one of those games then. And it's a 2-2 going back to Memphis. I think there's a chance we won't see him in game five or six. But
hmm
um
I
that,
mean,
it's tough though because I mean your best player goes out, one of the best players in the league. Like this is what your roster is built on. Just like if your quarterback goes out, like especially
mm,
the playoffs, it's like your star player goes out, it's like you're done. But
yeah, I mean, it's too bad. Do you have anything like, do you think the NBA kind of rushes the schedule because they just had a 7 game series? And they don't even get like they get 1 day of rest and they're back at it. I know, I mean, I guess it's the Warriors' fault. They were up 3-1 against Houston. They could have closed it out and maybe got some rest, but I think that has a lot to do with it. Like that game seven, heard it was like the most Curry's ever ran in a game. Like there's
mhm.
some stat on that, and then he gets 1 day of rest, flies to Minnesota. Like I feel like a lot of like the wear and tear. It's not like a freak
Yeah,
accident. It's like kind of just a wear and tear injury.
yeah, definitely. Probably it probably has something to play with it. I mean, I mean, he's just getting older too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all that wear and tear, like you said, just also with his body just getting older. Obviously,
hmm
I think just probably played a part into the injury. In terms of what they can do, I mean. I don't really know how much more I mean, they've already talked about shortening the regular season to like 72. There's talks about
hmm
that to eliminate some of these back-to-backs. But in terms of the playoffs, I mean, you would probably have to change a lot of the construction of all of it. Because I mean,
Yeah.
it's really complicated. Or I guess just that first glance because there's a bunch of different series going on. Like the Thunder,
Mhm.
they got a week rest because they finished their business. They finished their job in 4 games, so
Mhm.
they got a whole week of rest. So it would be tough.
I mean, yeah, to be non-biased, it is like
Yeah.
that's like the point of the play. Like the point of the playoffs is like there's a lot of injuries and like
Mhm.
the best teams are the ones that can, I'm not say play through it because the hamstring strain, but like that's why like people say depth doesn't matter, but I think depth does matter. Like I think in these next games, the Warriors depth, like if Kuminga can step up because he's another scoring option. Of course, like I think Jimmy's gonna do his thing, whatever, get to the line, get his 20, hopefully can get to like 30. Buddy Hield, we'll see if that's real. Draymond really stepped up, but I think, yeah, the depth and stuff, it matters in these playoffs because, you know, every team, or I wouldn't say every team, but like you're seeing with the Cavs, they deal with injuries. Even the Celtics had, Tatum missed maybe a game or two, or I think a game. Drew Holiday missed the
Holiday.
game.
Yeah.
Porzingis, and then the Cavs, they just had Garland out. I think the Knicks have had been pretty healthy. Pacers been pretty healthy. Um, Nuggets been pretty healthy. OKC's been healthy. So I guess just a couple of the teams, but everyone's probably got bangs and bruises. It's just Steph is
Mhm.
just that's just like tough one.
Yeah, I mean, it's like your quarterback going out. It's just like
Yeah.
no matter how good your team is at this type of level, it's like it's the playoffs.
Hmm.
We're not winning without them. But then that's another thing. It's like maybe we could get past it, like if with him playing this a game or two, like at the tail end of it, and like banged up a little bit. It's like you still have 2 series after potentially. Like that's what the goal would be for championship, obviously. So it's like rushing him back. It's just so tough that he got hurt. It's unfortunate, because it's not
Hmm.
just this series you're trying to get past. There's 2 other series, and
Hmm.
like if you go another game, like I see the only way that this goes if we win is it goes like 7 if he comes back. And that'll just be, it's going to be the same thing as the Rockets thing. You just bounce right into another playoff series against another great team right away. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate that he got that injury. I think what you mentioned about the Warriors, like, it's kind of their own fault too, in a way. Like, I totally agree with that. Like,
Yeah.
I know the philosophy, like, and who knows if they were viewing it like this, but just in history, if you look at the statistics and just how it happens, it's normally when you're up 3-1 like that. I don't want to say they punt the game, but like, you could kind of tell that, like,
Hmm.
especially if the game gets out of hand, they save themselves for game 6 at home. That's what usually every single team does.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happen a lot. They'll normally get just the team that's down 3-1 will just come out with the just insane intensity. Their home crowd's in it. They get off to an aggressive start, and then uh the just the away team when they're back home in game 6 they just take it away. That's what happened with us and the Lakers if you remember a couple years ago. We were down 3-1. We won our
Hmm.
game at home pretty comfortably, or like we were in control of it for a lot, and then I mean we just lost that game 6 against the Lakers at in LA, and it's like that's just what happens a lot. And I mean I'm not upset that they kind of, I guess, threw away the game. I didn't like that intensity. They came out in game 5, and then obviously Steve Kerr pulled the plug early. But then you see
Hmm.
what happens in game 6. You don't take care of business, and you're on the road again in game 7. And I think
Hmm.
that definitely did probably contribute to the injury because they went straight from Houston to um,
Minnesota, yeah.
Minnesota, yeah, and then I mean you just hop on the flight, you just get there, and you just have to play a game. It's like, yeah, I mean I definitely think that probably played a part into.
Hmm.
And I mean, who knows though? But yeah. But
Yeah.
it's their own fault. I mean, they should have just took care of business when they could have. Like they could have. But yeah.
I don't know. I still, as a Warriors, I still have some optimism for this season, this championship year, just because of the addition of Jimmy and like I know it's like on Steph out, but the game. I think getting this game is like super crucial.
Yeah.
Minnesota's definitely not going to miss as many threes as they are now, but I think it's not the Warriors. They played good on great defensively, but they could have hit. Buddy Hield hit a good amount of shots, but Jimmy I think could hit more shots. Getting this Draymond game is going to be hard again, but. I, th I don't know. I still have some optimism that we can maybe make it 2-2. If we can make it 3-1, I don't know. That's pushing it a little bit,
I
but
think we could definitely make it 2-2, like you said, though. We could definitely get one of these. I think it's
mhm,
really viable that we could get one of these games at home. But
mhm,
I just like I know Jimmy was more aggressive after, especially after Steph. exited, but like there are times, especially in the fourth, I want to see him be more aggressive. Like I
Mhm.
think Van Gundy pointed it out a lot. He was pointing out a bunch in the broadcast. Like he would just drive and like he was just literally just looking to kick the whole time, even though I thought there
Yeah.
were some shots, pretty clean looks. Like there, some of them would have been contested, but like
Mhm.
that's his game, like that mid range little. Maybe he could have drawn a foul, pump fake like
Mhm.
he does. Like he's a really good grifter and like getting fouls. So I want to see him more aggressive, especially at times. Like he's gonna have to be more aggressive.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I definitely think I'm optimistic that we could get one of these home games, especially Buddy. If he has a good game, everyone else just steps up a little bit,
Mhm.
I feel like a swing factor could be Kaminga, which we'll talk
Mhm.
about. But
Yeah, I think, I mean, a lot of Jimmy's game, I mean, it's still going to translate, but like we've seen, like with the refs, like they're really not blowing, like they're really holding the whistle. They're not really
Mhm.
calling much on both sides, which is playoff basketball. That's why I think Kaminga's game is also kind of affected because he's still whatever, like foul bait and stuff. And he got one of them last game,
Yeah,
but it's like, that's just you're not going to get tic-tac fouls in the playoffs anymore.
yeah.
So that's like a good 6 to 8 points of Kaminga's game. And then Jimmy's still going to find a way to score, but also Jimmy can't. That's why I think he's looking to kick more because, in the regular season, he might be getting those calls, but
Hmm.
he's not going to, I don't think he's going to get those in these playoffs.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. Game two is tomorrow, so
Mhm.
5:30. Man, it's just so unfortunate that Steph got hurt because I mean.
Yeah.
It'd have been interesting to see this game too, because if Steph was healthy, if we won both of these games on the road, like we could easily close this out in four. But
Yeah.
I
Do you
mean,
think they could win this game? If they win this game too, that's still,
if they do win this game, like if they just come out and their defense is just does the same exact thing of what just like what they did in the part of the re I know the Wolves shot bad and they're not going to shoot that bad again. Part of the re our defense does cause a lot of that though too.
yeah, it wasn't like they were getting great looks.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, and you saw that with Houston a lot at times too. Like even with like Şengün, he didn't really have that great of games the last two or three
Hmm.
games. We were forcing him to some really tough shots, and that's Draymond. Just so if we have another game like that, our defense just does that, and we can just get enough offense from everyone. Everyone
Hmm.
steps up a little. Like we could definitely win again. I'm not ex I don't know. I'm not expecting us to win this game too. I just think Minnesota, especially with Steph out, Minnesota's just going to come out with a
The like,
different, yeah,
confidence, yeah.
yeah, different intensity, and it's just, I don't know, it's just without Steph, it's hard, it's really hard, but that's why it's just we just need to get one of the home games at least. But
Did you see anything from Minnesota that, scare? I mean, I know it was like a fluke game. They're not going to miss that much, but did you see anything that scared you or like, or for on then perspective, like you're worried,
it,
like even without Steph, they might not be able to win this?
it's hard, no, because I think if Steph's out the whole, let's just say Steph's out the whole series, like he doesn't play again, we're gonna lose. Like I don't think we're gonna win. It's just,
No chance. Not enough scoring punch.
yeah, like obviously everyone has a chance, but it's just your best. Like I'm saying, our whole offense revolves
Revolves around.
around Steph.
Yeah.
It's like our roster is just we have this amazing defense and like a bunch of players that are athletic that can play defense. And
Hmm.
then our offense is like, the reason why it's good is because Steph and like Steph really is the one that he's the
Yeah.
functional piece. Everything's revolving around him. He's that one person that's able to carry us and like, put us on top and exploit those advantages, solve different
Hmm.
pieces that come about in the playoffs and
Yeah.
different schemes. And it's just without that, it's just our offense is just not going to be good enough.
Hmm.
So it's hard to say because honestly, I was really loving the minute, like with Steph on the floor, I was really loving the matchups you were getting, especially. I think it just really showed how great Houston's defense was and like
Yeah.
their scheme too, even though Udoka's scheme, obviously a men, just the other athletes they have. Because like,
Hmm.
I thought Steph was gonna have a bunch of favorable matchups in this series as well. Like I know they got McDaniels and Ant, but like. I don't know, just getting these switches on like even Nas Reed and stuff like Steph really likes exploiting those big
Hmm.
guys that like sort of like that they're not their first quick step is not as good as like these guys like a man and all that. And it's like
Yeah.
really take advantage of those matchups. And I just I was it's just so unfortunate that Steph got hurt because I think we're gonna like win this series comfortably with him. And so
Mhm.
there's nothing. there was
I,
nothing really concerning too much. Like it's hard to say now because everything's kind of concerning since Steph is out because it's just going to be
yeah.
hard for us to win all these games. But
I guess the positive is, I mean, it sucks, but at least it's grade one. So
yeah,
like it's recoverable. And I think Harden had the same thing and he came back in like a game or two, but he was basically just a decoy. Remember
was
on
this
that?
the one on the Nets you're talking about? Or
Yeah.
oh, okay, man, he was really like you could
He was
tell
just
he was hurting the
Yeah, he
whole
was just limping
game.
around. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's like where I mean, if that's why it's like if it was in the finals or something, like he can be a decoy, you can win these games, but you have like 2 rounds after this where you're gonna need
yeah,
him. So it's like even if it was the Western Conference Finals, you can be like, I don't know, rest him a week and then shoot him
Mhm.
up, blah blah blah. Like he'll probably like he's still gonna make an impact. But it's like 2 rounds, that's maybe like 10 plus games. It's like it's bad. And hamstrings linger. I guess this is why you get Jimmy, Draymond, and then yeah, I guess the X factor. I mean, we've mentioned again, just maybe Kuminga steps up and this is his little thing because that's really the only like guy that can create his own shot. Other than that,
Yeah,
pause maybe a little bit. Shout out Pat Spencer, he played well too, and I really like our depth, but I mean, we're gonna keep going over and over and like losing your best player, it's not gonna help at all.
yeah. I agree with you though. I think they should have. I think they should honestly just play Kuminga as much as they can in this game, game two,
Yeah.
because it's quote. I don't. It's quote unquote a throwaway game in a sense. You're playing with house
Hmm.
money a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
so I think they could just because if they could somehow get him going, that could definitely. That's definitely. I mean, it's not going to hurt them, or it'd definitely be a tremendous help if they could get him going in some type of way. And
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's definitely advantages he could exploit, like
Hmm.
under smaller guards, like like not saying we revolve our whole offense around him, but like I feel like there's times we could get him just these matchup advantages where he can really take use of his athleticism. Like if we get him on like Conley or
Hmm.
even Chen's on the court, and that can like really maybe start building his confidence and
Hmm.
he could start just having some greater impact. But I don't know, we'll see. I think we'll definitely see him a lot in this next game,
Yeah.
but.
I agree.
Yeah.
Is there is there anything else you want to talk about for this series, or I was going to talk a little bit about, or another series.
No, I think that's pretty much it. We'll have to see. I think what you said about the Steph in the 2 rounds, that's a big part of it, That's why
Yeah.
what happens in these next 3 games is going to be probably a big indicator of like what they
Hmm.
end up doing. But we can move on. Um,
Hmm.
do you want to talk about Knicks Celtics real quick? Because I was just
Yeah, I was going to talk about that series.
okay. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, like I said, I was big on the Knicks, but I'm gonna still be a non-biased fan here. I mean,
Mhm.
it's great that they won, but like, I don't think the Celtics are missing. What was it, 45 threes?
Yeah.
Something.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's a reason for that too, but yeah.
which is like, I don't know. I just feel like it was I wouldn't say a lucky game, but like the Celtics aren't going to play that bad. But also for like the Celtics, like Jason Tatum in the clutch, he's 6'9". I don't see why he's, taking that many like step back contested threes. Like just go to the basket. So it's not like, and the Knicks, are playing great plays. Kudos to them. Mikal Bridges had a great overtime, clutch steals, all that. On the box score, he didn't look like he had a great game, but he had a great game. OG really saved them. Brunson had a couple bad plays, but I think he had an overall great game. Down the stretch, he had a pretty clutch triple. Um, he could have done a little more, but it is what it is. Porzingis went out with a illness, which I mean, I don't know in the playoffs. I don't know how bad an illness is, but
Yeah.
you kind of need Porzingis to
Yeah.
win this series. Um, is there anything you saw in this game?
I mean, I don't want to discredit the Knicks at all because obviously what they did was, I mean,
Yeah.
insane and like give credit to them. But I mean, to me, it was just, and it's annoying to me for. I'm not a Boston fan or anything, but it's just annoying to see basketball like just how they played. I thought they played horribly in that second half.
Hmm.
I just don't understand why. Like you said, like. Bro, it was just literally looking. It just seemed like they just wanted to get the first three off that they could get. It didn't matter like how clean the look was. Just like
Yeah.
if they had some type of space, they're letting it fly. And it was just like
Yeah.
there's so many different opportunities where it's like they could have took advantage of so many just mismatches, switches. Like Cat was on Jalen Brown so many times on these switches, and
Hmm.
Jalen Brown was just settling for like these. these just contest. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They were clean looks, but it's just like they could have got so many better looks.
Hmm.
Like Boston, like they're literally unbeatable from what I've seen this season when they just drive and kick because of like 1 through 5 can shoot. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why I think they're the best roster in the NBA. They 1 through 5 can just they have the bet they can just play both sides. They can do they all can shoot on offense. They obviously have the star power with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. They got
Hmm.
great role. I mean, I don't even, they're better than role players, Derek White and stuff. But
Yeah.
every single person 1 through 5 can play defense. And even Horford and like Peyton Pritchard can play defense off the bench.
Yeah.
Like and just their offense, when they drive and kick, it's just because if you got Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum driving to the basket, like you're getting help, by at least one person, and then it's literally setting up an open catch and shoot three for one of those guys. And it's just
Yeah.
they're basically just pretty much unstoppable when they do that because they're
Hmm.
generating these open looks, and majority of the time they're going to make them. One of the reasons why they shot so bad from three is they were taking all these horrible shots. Like honestly, that's what
Yeah.
a lot of it was. They're taking just I don't know, these forced shots, a bunch of, like you said, these step back contested shots. And they made some of them. Like Jason Tatum hit some big shots over a double team. Like I remember one of them. But I mean, I just don't understand it sometimes. I mean, they weren't able to get into a rhythm because they were just taking these threes just like way early into the shot clock. They weren't getting into
Yeah.
any offensive rhythm. They weren't setting up anything. So I think, like you said, I think the Celtics really just lost this game. Like obviously the Knicks took advantage of everything. They had to play the way they did to come back. But um I don't I just that this is the only where I see Boston losing, to like a whole round to a team. Like if they end up playing like OKC or anything, like
Hmm.
they just they just I don't know, these they try to like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just try to be too much of these shot creators at times where it's like they don't need to do that. Like they're
Yeah.
too
Yeah. I know what you mean.
good to do that. It's just like they get into
Yeah.
this ISO ball too much, I think. But
Yeah. And I know Joe Mazzulla loves like them getting up threes and all that, but it's like
yeah.
the driving kicks are good, with like you're saying, but like the ones that they were getting were just not. They're not. They were missing them, but they weren't great looks. Like a Jason Tatum step back three, like I don't know, it's an okay look. It's not like a
And
bad look, but it's not like the best look possible. You know what I mean?
yeah, not to cut you off, but like there's one, and I think part of the reason why is, I mean, there's this one, I think it was in the third quarter where he missed a bunch, but then he hit this like in between step back, like over two people. It was a deep three too. And I
Hmm.
think once one of those goes in, like, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
they just keep putting them up. So it's like, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's tough. But just that's watching basketball. It's like when I see that sometimes it's just like, man, like you have so much talent to take, like you're just not taking advantage of what your talent like can best do for you, I think. And it's just like thing that contributed to the big reason why they lost that game. So, but
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Knicks did some good stuff as well, but I mean, yeah, it's gonna be hard to translate that. I think
yeah.
if the Knicks want to win, Cat has. I mean, I know they won this game, but Cat has to, take advantage of some of the mismatches he's getting on those pick and rolls, and like, if he can't score on like Jaylen Brown, Derek White's, Drew Holiday's, like they're not gonna win this series.
Yeah.
Like he has to. He's 6'10", 6'11". He has all the talent, but yeah, if he's not scoring on those type of players, it should be wraps. But I mean, I guess this game you never know.
I mean, if
All
OG
the talent.
Anunoby keeps producing like he has
Yeah,
been, I mean, they're gonna be competing though. So, I mean, he's
you
been
know
a
the
big
Knicks.
X factor in my, but
Miles McBride also had I think, a pretty solid game.
yeah.
Um, he's solid on defense, can hit some tray balls. So hopefully Tom Thibodeau looks at their bench a little more, but probably not. But
Yeah.
um,
Moving on to another upset, the Nuggets upset the Thunder in game one.
mhm.
Jokic, I mean, he had a crazy stat. He had 42, 22, and 6
I think,
turnovers, but I mean, they won the game. So,
yeah, I think this just game just shows like the Thunder's youth.
hmm.
Like, I mean, I can still see the Thunder win the series. I think
I
it
mean,
might
with
go.
everything that happens, I mean, if Chet makes those two free throws, I don't
That's
know, it
exactly what
might
I
be
was
a
going to mention.
totally different story.
Yeah. I mean,
But
Shea had a solid game. I think you could have got a little more from J-Dub. He didn't shoot the ball well, and he's your second option, which is something that's been concerning. Like, can he be a second option? And then down the stretch, Chet missing those two free throws. It's like you have to make those free throws, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But on the Nuggets side, I think, of course, Jokic played a great game, but like we said, Aaron Gordon has had a great playoffs. I feel like he's turned into he's a playoff riser.
Hmm.
Um, and then Russell Westbrook again, who I think the whole playoffs has been so big, just hustle, just another, I wouldn't say another shot creator, but another guy that, he'll get his points, he'll get some rebounds, he'll get a hustle play. He might have a bad turnover, bad missed layup, but I think this game he really helped them a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we talked about that like on the pod right before the playoffs, where like Westbrook could either, because at the end of the season he was sort of leaning towards that like being more of a negative in a lot of
Yeah,
different
yeah.
ways, and we were like, but there's always that upside, and
Hmm.
that aggressiveness he brings just, and like I mean, he's been nothing but that upside in these playoffs.
Yeah.
He's really helped them win a bunch of these games at times, especially in that Clipper series. Again, like you said, this game. Um,
Hmm.
I think, I mean, Aaron Gordon, like, I mean, just another big, I mean, that was a crazy shot, crazy big
Big shot.
shot.
Yeah.
I mean, when he pulled that, I mean, he pulled that with confidence too. And like,
Yeah.
talked about it afterwards, it's like, I agree with them. It's like, they were packing the paint. Maybe there was like 4 seconds left. So maybe that was probably the best clean look he was going to get. But,
Yeah.
so, I mean, he took it and he made it. So, I mean, that's what you got to do. So, just a big shot. I'm surprised Chet missed both of those free throws. That's crazy. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to say to that, but because then, yeah, I mean, because then you can't even foul at that point, you know. But
Yeah. Yeah.
because if he makes both free, I don't know. I don't really know their philosophy. Do they usually foul when they're up
But
three?
do you, or I don't know their usual, but did you see I think I don't want to get twisted, but I think they're up by maybe three
Or when
or
they're up by three and then they didn't. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Jokic was out the game, and then
They fouled. They
They
fouled.
fouled, and then Jokic
Yeah.
got I think they should have just waited. That was just a bad.
Yes. Okay. So then, they would have definitely fouled if they made those two free throws then.
Yeah, yeah, but
But
I don't get that with Jokic out. You just
yeah.
make Denver make a tough three without Jokic in the game, and then you foul, and then it's not even like they foul like 5 seconds in, they foul like 0.2 seconds in. So I think that was a bad coaching decision.
I mean, it looks really bad now because of what happened during the game.
Hmm.
I do agree with you, especially because Jokic was out. Like you probably just live with them. Just they have to hit a tough three.
Yeah.
Um, I don't hate it though. Actually, to be honest, like I mean, it just if you're
I
gonna
just hate
do
it
that,
because
you have
Jokic
to.
was not in the game.
But you just need someone like if you have like if it was us and we had like Steph, like I would do this. To be honest, because like Steph's not gonna miss these free throws. Like it's
Yeah.
just when you do this, all you're just doing is you're just gonna go back and forth with the free throws, and like time's eventually gonna expire. But
Hmm.
I mean, you have to have someone who's going to hit the free throws if you're going to do that. So, like, I actually
And
don't hate it
Chet's,
from the philosophy standpoint. It's just,
Mhm.
I don't know. They just did they failed at doing the most important part of it. They missed both free throws.
Yeah. And Chet's a
But
good free throw shooter too, so
yeah. So,
that's
like,
just
I actually love the idea of it. Like, I feel like I would do that, but it's just, I don't know. They just didn't do the most important part of the strategy. So,
I don't know. I think with Jokic not in the game, I'm just living
yeah, I definitely see that. Yeah.
I get it without Jokic, but they took out Jokic I think for defense purposes or whatever.
Hmm.
You want him to be off the floor, and yeah, I mean it does hindsight it looks bad, but
Yeah. Or it looks really bad now because of what
yeah,
happened.
yeah. But I mean as a Warriors fan, I think this is gonna go seven, so that's good. So if both
100%, especially because they took this game now.
yeah,
The
yeah,
real shot of winning this. But
yeah. To be honest, shout out. I mean, before the playoffs started, Denver's coach got fired. They were on kind of a little losing streak, and now I think they have a great chance of, making the finals
but
and,
the,
maybe
dude,
even winning it.
watching that Thunder and Nuggets game though, and then seeing Steph get hurt, that's because I feel like I mean, we would have a great chance to beat whoever came out of that Thunder and Nuggets series.
Yeah, I know. It's
Like,
tough.
I don't know. Like, honestly, it just sucks now because
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like, especially if we got to play Denver, like as
Mhm.
good as their offense is, like I just think our defense can present a whole bunch of problems to their offense, and like we can make them more uncomfortable than they can make us because their defense is really not that good. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they've stepped it up in the playoffs, but their defense is really not. We're as like especially coming out of these two series we would have came out of like Steph would have exploited that pick and roll with Jokic and just brought
You
him.
don't think I don't know. I still think we can handle the series and then Steph comes back. I don't know if I'm delusional, but
Oh no, I definitely think we can. I just don't know how healthy he'd be for these next two series, you know? Like, I don't know. We'll
it
just
lingers. Yeah.
yeah, just because it's lingering. But
I mean, Steph, I feel like it's tough and like I think I don't know. I still have belief in this Warriors.
I
I
know
don't
it's
know.
tough, but if he comes back rushed and you just tear it, like it doesn't matter how tough, you know? Like,
Yeah, yeah, PT, yeah. I know what
yeah,
you
it's just like there's only so much like that you're just capable of doing because we're human beings, you know? Like even though
mean. Yeah.
the toughest mindset, you know. But I'm definitely still confident. I'm not saying we're gonna lose the series to Memphis. I'm just saying like if with Steph fully healthy, like I think we great chance of making the finals and competing.
Yeah.
And it just it's questionable now since we don't know if Steph's gonna come back. So
Yeah. I know like the we had a it was a great it was a great like it looked good for us, especially with this OKC Denver thing.
mhm.
You can see like you can see like how both teams have, flaws.
Especially now, if we end up getting out of the series and Steph is back, but he's just hurt. He's obviously going to be hurt if he's back. If
Hmm.
we do end up playing, like if it ended up the matchup being OKC, I think that is their defense does present a lot of the problems. I think that
Houston does.
Houston did. They have a lot of these smaller. They have just so much speed on their team, and
Yeah.
they're just their speed to the ball, their quickness. They can present a lot of those.
Yeah.
And
Case
then
and Waller,
yeah, and then
Dort,
the
yeah.
athletes like Ludor and stuff. So it's like Caruso's another person who had a great game.
Yeah,
But
he's been playing real good in the playoffs.
so I think that's another team that I mean they're just going to present a lot of problems for us too. And then with Steph potentially being not healthy or fully healthy and being I don't even know how much percentage he'd be at, but I mean it's tough. I thought yeah, it's tough. We'll see what happens though.
Yeah. Um, you want to move on to the Cavs Pacers series?
Yeah,
Um, to be honest, I mean, I know the Cavs had some injuries this last game,
yeah.
but
Blowing a lead like that though in the way they
yeah, you can't blow a lead like that at home with Donovan Mitchell
yeah.
having basically a 50 piece. And you needed this win real bad because not healthy, the Pacers fully healthy, being 0-2, both games at home. Yeah, it's not looking good for them.
I mean,
And
shout out to
this,
the Pacers though. They've been doing this all playoff series. They've just been, you know,
no, the Pacers, yeah, they've been, not to cut you off, but yeah, they're a good team, you know?
yeah. But
Um,
I'm still not concerned about the Cavs. Obviously they've blown chances a lot of these, both in both of these games, and they had
mhm.
injuries in this game. The only thing I would be concerned about, actually, I mean, I haven't really checked, is just the injury status of their players because they do have a lot
Yeah.
of people still. Like, I don't. What's like Garland's?
His is a toe. I don't think his is, I thought
Okay.
it was not that serious because they said he was like most likely to play game two, but I guess he
Yeah.
was, so it's not like he should be out that long.
But
But
it would just be hard if they have Garland and Mobley out for like I don't know a couple more like if they even a game is like your margin for error is like nothing now because you're going down you lost both home games.
yeah.
um I wouldn't be concerned just because I mean the Cavs have when they're healthy they do have they're one of the best teams in the NBA.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, your guys are hurt right now. If they do come back, you're just gonna have no margin for error. And I mean, just in these playoffs, the margin for error everywhere has just been so slim, Just the difference between one play can be the difference between winning and losing. And when you're down to 0-2, you can't afford making any of those mistakes. So
Yeah. I mean, I still have belief in Don Mitchell because he does play well in the playoffs,
yeah.
but without Garland or Mobley, it's gonna be, especially because of how well like the Pacers have been playing. Like just
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton, I know people hate, he's overrated and all that, but I think I saw some stats, 10 for 11 on like last 2 minute go ahead or game time shot. And just I thought their game wouldn't translate in the playoffs because like really team oriented,
Hmm.
kind of get everyone going. But so far they've looked like it looks like it has translated. And I know the East isn't as strong as the West or whatever, but I still think like I don't want to like put any like take them for granted. Like I think they've looked like a really good team. Defensively, I mean, I wouldn't say they're that crazy, but offensively, they just have a lot of guys that are great basketball players.
Yeah.
Andrew Nembhard's, he didn't have a crazy game, but he's been real good. Miles Turner's been solid. Siakam's been solid. Neesmith's been solid. And then you've gotten a little bit from people off the bench, like, Mathurin, TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, and all that.
Mhm. Yeah. But when is it? They got multiple days of rest. That game three's on Friday. So
Let's see. Is it on
yeah, it's on
Friday?
Friday. The only game tomorrow is the Warrior game, Warrior Timberwolves. So
Yeah, why do the Warriors not get rest?
because I mean, I guess they did it probably because they're moving locations, but I don't know. Because the game,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
but maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they can make this a series just for us to watch the Cavs, because I thought it could maybe go seven or something, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's too bad because this was kind of the Cavs' year. I wouldn't say their year, but like,
They were probably the best chance they had.
yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like last year, there was a big difference watching them play against Boston. Like they were just Boston was just on a different level than them. You could see
Yeah.
it. But like this year, I thought they like bridged that gap more. Obviously, with the like just the evolution and Mobley developing and like yeah, that was a big part of it. And like so, I mean, we'll see. I still think I still think they're gonna win. Definitely just gonna be a super long series now. If their guys don't come back, though, it'll be tough. But
Oh, you have the Cavs still winning the series?
yeah, I think the Cavs are still gonna pull it off in seven. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to
No,
be honest, now I have the Pacers.
you have the Pacers in
I have
what?
the Pacers in
Six, seven,
six,
five,
six,
and
six.
six? Okay.
Just
I
because I don't know the availability of Garland in them.
yeah, I know.
And
But
even if they do come back, I don't know.
if they come back, even if they had to, I mean, I have faith that they could rattle like three straight off if they come back.
Really, you're that high on the Cavs?
Well, against I mean,
You're not
I know we've been talking about how good the Pacers. I just think they could do it against the Pacers.
yeah, okay. You're not very high on the
I'm
Pacers.
not really high on the Pacers from what I've seen. Like they played well, but especially in that Bucks series. But yeah, I don't know. I still trust in the Cavs more. So, but I mean, if they don't get their guys back, obviously it's going to be tough. Like if you don't have Mobley and Garland playing like another game or two, like two games, it might be.
Do you think if Boston wins comfortably against the Knicks, do you think either of this team has any sort of chance against them?
But you're saying the Cavs or the Pacers?
Yeah,
Uh, no. I mean, like I said, I think the only way Boston loses to anyone is if they
they
just
beat themselves.
yeah, and they just do exactly what they did yesterday. But
Hmm.
I mean, I don't see them doing that for more than like a game or two. And it's like
Hmm.
even against certain like if they match up against Pacers, I think they can like still win these games even if they do those dumb decisions, what I call dumb
Yeah,
decisions. Like they're
yeah.
be a lot closer than they should be. But
Hmm.
honestly, they have like I know OKC had a historic season record wise, so did the Cavs, but like I mean the Boston, if you just take Boston's roster, like there's no way they should lose. Like, dude, you got like five people, $30 million payroll,
Hmm.
one through five, like 1 through 7 on their roster can play defense and give you upside on offense. All of them can shoot. It's like you
Yeah.
shouldn't be losing with your roster construction. You have like the perfectly built roster.
Mhm.
But that
Yeah, I totally agree.
but that's the thing though, like and they have the star power, but I don't know, do they when they get into these moments where the stars need to be stars? I mean that's a
Like,
big question to be
yeah,
honest.
exactly.
That's
Do they
that's
have
that's a big part of it because like if the whole thing matters because they have the whole roster, they have all the players, and they have quote unquote the stars. But if the stars aren't going to play like stars when they need to be stars or
mhm.
superstars, then I mean that
The
plays a
team
part
with the
to it too.
superstar is gonna win?
Like last year. So what I was saying was just like last year, Tatum really didn't need to be like they had favorable matchups. I don't think their matchups in the East, they really had a smooth coat, like pretty easy path to the finals, like playing some hurt teams. Pacers were hurt. And so it's like, and even in the finals, I mean Tatum didn't have to rise to that level and be
Hmm.
that superstar, you know what I mean? Like I'm not saying he didn't impact the game at all. Like even if he doesn't have it going on offense, I mean that's where a lot of his upside is too. Just his impact on with their defense and their defensive scheme, like plays a major role in that. But
Hmm.
he just really, but like honestly, he just didn't have to be that superstar, tier one superstar in the playoffs at all last year in order for them to win. And it's like they were just that good. They were just that much better than everyone they were playing
Hmm.
roster. And um, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the margin. the gap between them and the rest of the league obviously is kind of shrunk. And I think, they're playing better competition now. People aren't hurt like last year. So it's like, I think he's definitely, they still have the best roster, in my opinion. I mean, he's just going to have to rise to that level, I think. But
Yeah, that's the thing with the Celtics because they have the best roster in the league by far. They have perfect fit roster. Everyone can shoot, everyone can defend. But I mean, in these close games, you're taking the star like that can close the thing out. So it's like I don't know, they play the Warriors in the finals, a healthy Curry and Jimmy. Like
yeah.
in those close games, you're taking a healthy Curry and Jimmy just to close that out. Or
Part of
even
it is too getting into those close games. If they just play like like, especially
mhm,
like Tatum just if they're super whoever their superstar is going to be just they honestly just play like that throughout the course of the game like they're not even going to be in some of these close games that they are like
yeah,
like they shouldn't have been in that situation with the Knicks and
mhm,
once you do get in that situation they're just not handling it either so it's a two-part thing but so I don't know we'll see definitely if I mean I guess that's another way they lose if Tatum just doesn't rise to that level that he needs to be at that tier one superstar type of level but
mhm.
well, we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I don't know. I hope the Knicks win. I think it'll be good for the league and it'll
Mhm.
be fun. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything else?
Nothing else I wanted to mention. Anything you wanted to mention? Could be about the Warriors, could be about anything.
Um, let me think. I'm kind of excited for the draft lottery next Monday. I'm
Oh,
excited for the little draft. Just see where Cooper Flag goes. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. I don't know. Usually I know a lot about the draft, but this year I probably know like I don't know. I don't maybe know to like 10 prospects, not even. Where before I think I know like almost the whole first round, but I just hope, Cooper Flag goes to the right destination. Um, Even I like Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper. Just see where they go. Um, Hope Steph comes back.
real quickly, what do you want to see in this game too? And like, what do you think's the way, like the formula, like this has to happen for us to win this game too?
The Warriors.
Yeah.
Um, I think you're just gonna have to go all in. I know Curry's been a great defender, but I think without him, I guess you have to go in the game where you're just like last game, you're just winning off straight defense.
Hmm.
And the Minnesota, I guess Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert on the floor. That's like lack of spacing. Anthony Edwards not going to be that bad. I don't think it's going to be that bad again, but I think probably Gary Payne's going to start in place for Curry. Another, switchable can guard multiple guys. If Buddy Hield can guard like that, then oof, we're going to be good. And then, so you're going to need a big game from Jimmy, like a big game from Draymond, a big game from Buddy Hield, and then maybe a spark plug off Kuminga, which is a lot to ask for. But I honestly would, I can see us winning this next game. I don't know. I have maybe a delusional confidence about this team, but I think, with Jimmy in Miami, him just kind of carrying the load. I know last game he only had about 20, but just whenever like he has the ball, I feel real comfortable that, we're gonna win the game or at least like do something. So I think I have a lot of trust in Jimmy. I think our role players, they're hit or miss, but at the least all of them can defend. Kaminga's been, question mark, but I think he had a couple bad turnovers, and it's sometimes like, what is he doing on the floor? But I think he had a couple bright spots we can say, and things that maybe be able to translate. So I honestly have trust that we can win this game.
Do you think they're gonna? I mean, I don't want to use the term must win, but in terms of like, because that could determine, I think, Kaminga's leash. Because like you
Mhm.
saw in the Houston games, like if he had a couple bad plays, just
Yeah.
reading things, wasn't reacting to things right, turnovers, like he was getting pulled immediately, just because
Mhm.
just just what because like every single game mattered, late in those
Mhm.
series. So it's like, do you see that happening in this game? Like
Well,
I could see them viewing it totally opposite and just like just giving him a full leash, just like.
yeah. I
But
think they gave him the full leash in was it
it was
game two against
well,
Houston?
that's when Jimmy got hurt, right?
Yeah, I think this is the same thing. I think this is a game
Okay.
where Kaminga, you have one more time. You have, I think he'll get 20 plus minutes. And
Hmm.
in that game too, he didn't really have a leash. He was playing through the mistakes. I
Yeah.
know he's getting blown out, but he didn't capitalize at all. But I mean, Kaminga, I want to say he's getting lucky with these injuries, but he's getting these chances with these injuries.
Hmm.
So I know it's hard to get back in the rotation, He thinks he's like a star player, 30-minute guy, max guy, and then, being pulled out the rotation, putting him back in. I mean, it's not easy, but I
Hmm.
mean, as an NBA player, you have to,
Yeah.
if he wants to be a star, you know, you have to play good in these moments. And like even Pat Spencer, he got his low shine and he played well in these moments. He stayed ready and just hasn't felt like Kuminga stayed ready. But he has this one opportunity tomorrow where I think he can, if he plays like I mean, I wouldn't say he should play, but if he plays like whatever the same dominant guy he's had in these stretches, then I mean, I feel real confident in this series.
And I know we're talking about a lot of his impact that could be on the offensive end, which I mean,
Mhm.
if we get that, that's great. But like, if he can just be just elite, because obviously his size and athleticism gives him the means to do so. Like, just with everything else on the court, and you see that like
Mhm.
there's that efforts there. Like, I just keep seeing this video on my feed. It's about like it's TJ McConnell saying like I think he said like hard work is a skill or it's effort. I forgot which one he used, but and I mean, I want to see him engage in every single just aspect of the game, you know? Because
Yeah.
even if he's not getting those looks consistently on offense, we're not creating those advantages for him, or like we're not
Mhm.
running everything through him. Like his impact could be, he could have a tremendous impact on every single other aspect of the game. But like that's gonna just come down to like if he wants to do it, you know, and if
Yeah.
he's engaged. Because like sometimes he just gets so disengaged, and
Yeah.
you
Just
know.
get lost on defense,
Yeah. Like
get
if he's
offensive
fully
rebound.
locked in and
Cut.
engaged on every part, like he can have an impact whether or not he touches the ball on offense or not. And like
Yeah.
that could be huge. Because like you said, we're gonna have to win these on defense and compete on defense. So that's something I want to see. I want to see how engaged he is in this game. So I'm looking forward to that. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
What did you think he was engaged last game? Game
Uh,
one?
I mean, there were moments like I mean everything like whatever we saw, like everything's just gonna have to be on a completely different level,
Yeah.
especially because Steph's out. Like you're just gonna everything's gonna have to be on a completely different level. I would honestly just I'm throwing out everything I saw, and it's just like I just want to see him just go out there and compete. And
Yeah. I mean, he's really the X factor.
yeah,
Um, he's really the X factor. I mean, if Buddy Hield turns into, Oklahoma Buddy Hield, then I think we can maybe win this without Curry, but that's a lot to ask for. He's been real engaged, and when he's making his shots, I just hope that if Buddy Hield's, not making his shots, has a bad game, he still plays the type of defense he plays when he does make his shots. Because when you make your shots, you
yeah.
and all that.
Well, that's what
So,
I'm saying. That's what the challenge is going to be for everyone. I feel like
hmm
every, it's everyone because we're going to have to, like you said, win off our defense, and that's
hmm
what's going to keep us in these games.
hmm
The problem is going to be this like if we get that offensive consistency, can we make those shots when it matters? You know, like I
hmm
helped you last night when they were kind of making a run. You know, and got like an and one late and like 8 minutes left in the fourth, and they
hmm
were seeming like they could gain some momentum. I know Buddy hit a big three just
hmm
to kind of halt that because we had this drought where like 4 minutes where we didn't score at all, and then Gary Payton hit another big three in the corner, and it's just like just are we going to have enough offense at times to put us over that? And because if we don't, we're just our defense can only do so much, especially if they shoot well. Like if they have just a above average shooting game, it would be tough for us to
hmm
produce that type of offense. And like you said, it's about being engaged because our the challenge will be will our players still be engaged if those shots aren't falling on offense, you know? And if that game starts kind of getting a little away or
hmm
start pulling a little away, are we gonna just completely just collapse and just disengage on defense, you know. That would be a
Yeah.
big but
I have hope. Yeah, I have
yeah.
hope. Maybe we need Moses Moody's not really been hitting his stuff. Hopefully,
It's gonna be tough, yeah, because I don't want to say he's unplayable, but it's just like he's just not bringing that much.
yeah. I mean, I can see the rotation. He's not in the rotation next game. Can see them
Yeah.
going starting lineup of Pods, Heald, Payton, Jimmy Draymond, and then off the bench, Pat Spencer,
Yeah.
Kuminga, Post, Looney, just like a 9-man. And then, you don't even know if you're getting much from Post either, and then you don't even know if Moody, because he's supposed to be in there for spacing, but it's just not looking good.
Yeah. All right. So the Warriors play tomorrow, 5:30.
Mhm.
Stay tuned. We'll be doing some instant reaction to their game specifically, and we'll be doing more pods throughout the playoffs about all these other series. But just thank you for watching. Stay tuned for all these videos, upcoming videos, and have a good day. Peace.